So, have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone just pokes at you? Maybe they demean you, or maybe they just scratch at this really old wound, and before you even realize what's happening, you just explode. I mean, we've all been there, right? Maybe it's a furious, all caps email you fire off in the heat of the moment, or some snappy comeback that honestly just ends up making things 10 times worse. The anger bubbles up, the emotions completely take over, and you fire back without thinking. And then, almost immediately, the regret sets in. You sit there asking yourself, man, why did I say that? Why couldn't I just hold it together? Why on earth did I let my peace of mind depend entirely on what someone else just said? It is a universal pain point. And over time, we really start to realize that this instinct we have to react defensively, it's actually become our greatest weakness.
Well, welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to completely flip that script. We are unpacking a concept that honestly has the potential to alter the entire trajectory of your life, and that is the power of not reacting. Now, society kind of tells us that staying silent means you're weak or that you've just given up. But as you'll see from the wisdom of ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, all the way to modern spiritual gurus, choosing not to react isn't a weakness at all. No way. It's actually the ultimate self-control superpower. It is an inner strength that makes you not just powerful, but literally unbreakable. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap from the chaos of our emotions to total mastery over our minds. We're going to start with the trap of reacting, move into the power of silence, explore healing inner wounds, look at defeating toxic people, and finally, mastering your mind. All right, Section 1, the trap of reacting and exactly why we lose control. You see, our brains are literally hardwired to fire back quickly when we feel provoked. It's biological. But there is a massive difference between an ordinary knee-jerk reaction and the response of a truly grounded person. Think about it like this. If someone throws a stone at you, and you pick it up and throw it back every single time, you are going to exhaust yourself. But more importantly, that person throwing the stones is completely controlling your actions. Jumping into every single fight and letting every taunt drag you down is, quite frankly, a form of emotional slavery. Your peace, your energy, they're being dictated by somebody else. True freedom isn't fighting every battle. True freedom is having the power to say, you know what, I choose not to engage. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark visual contrast between these two very different states of being. Look at reacting. It's fast, it's messy, it's purely emotional, and it's driven entirely by our ego, just scrambling to defend itself. Responding, on the other hand, that's a conscious choice. It is paused, it's thoughtful, and it's driven by wisdom. When you just react, you're handing the other person exactly what they want, your energy. But when you pause and respond, or actually sometimes choose not to respond at all, you send a crystal clear message. I am governed by my own thoughts, not by your actions. Moving right along to Section 2, the power of silence, and what ancient wisdom has to say about it. Ancient philosophy brilliantly reframes this whole idea of silence. It takes it from being seen as this submissive, weak thing and turns it into an impenetrable shield. There's this famous anecdote where someone once asked the Buddha, "Hey, what is your biggest weapon?" And the Buddha simply smiled and said, "Peace." He explained it like this. In a massive storm, the wind is howling, rivers are overflowing, right? It's chaos. But a truly strong tree, one with really deep roots, it might bend in the wind for sure, but it never breaks. True strength is maintaining your inner peace when the storm of someone else's chaos is just swirling all around you. Let's see how this builds with another really powerful story from the source material. So, a disciple once goes to his guru and asks, "Master, when someone repeatedly demeans you, should you stay silent?" The guru didn't reply, just nothing. The disciple asks a second time. Still, silence. When the disciple asked a third time, the guru finally spoke and said, "I already answered you. My silence was the answer." This just beautifully illustrates that choosing not to engage is often the absolute loudest, most effective reply you can possibly give. When you constantly try to justify yourself, people just see it as weakness. But an unbothered, silent smile, oh man, that leaves them utterly powerless. Okay, Section 3, healing your inner wounds and understanding your triggers. So we've talked a lot about external conflicts, but we got to pivot to internal healing for a second. Sometimes when our anger suddenly flares up, we really need to pause and ask ourselves, wait, am I actually this angry at the person standing in front of me, or did they just poke a really old, unhealed wound? These emotional triggers, they act like thieves in the night. They literally steal your peace of mind the split second someone brushes up against them. But here is the absolutely crucial point. Once you recognize these emotional thieves, you stop being their victim. By just taking a deep breath and understanding where the pain is actually coming from, you step into the role of the master of your feelings. You completely take away the trigger's power over you.
That brings us to Section 4, defeating toxic people, or winning without fighting.
Now we get to the really practical application of dealing with external threats. Those people who are actively trying to ruin your peace. And let's be real, we all know someone like this, right? Toxic individuals are people who just sort of scan you, find your weak spots, and then repeatedly strike there just to get a rise out of you. They literally feed on your angry reactions. It gives them the attention and the energy they're desperately craving. And that is exactly why your silence, your absolute refusal to react, is their kryptonite. So how do we actually neutralize them? Well, the source material gives us 3 incredibly actionable rules to protect your mental space. First up, create distance. If you can't create physical distance, you absolutely must create mental distance. Just don't let their words take root in your head. Second, do not give them the reaction they crave. Look, if you explode, they win. But if you smile and just stay super focused on your own goals, they're left swinging at the air. And third, be brutally honest with yourself. Are they actually worth your energy? I mean, most of the time, the answer is a resounding no. Starve them of your attention, and I promise you their power over you completely vanishes.
All right, our final section, number 5, mastering your own mind, and the practical framework to get there.
So how do we actively practice and actually build this superpower into our daily lives? Well, it all starts with the number right there on your screen, 2. Just 2 seconds. A simple 2-second pause before you speak can literally be the difference between saving your dignity and getting dragged into a massive, totally regrettable fight. When your brain is just screaming at you to fire back, forcing a 2-second pause interrupts that emotional short circuit. It gives your wisdom a crucial head start to catch up with your ego. And this quote right here brilliantly illustrates exactly why that pause is so vital. Before firing an arrow, you must pull the bow backward. I absolutely love this metaphor. Taking a step back into silence, that isn't a retreat. It is the necessary tension you need to launch a really wise, powerful, and calculated response. Think about it. If you just throw an arrow with your bare hand, it goes absolutely nowhere. But pulling it back, that generates incredible power. So here is your 4-step daily practice to become the absolute master of your mind. Number 1, awareness. You have got to identify the emotion, whether it's anger, jealousy, whatever, as it's rising before it totally takes over. Number 2, discipline. Keep your daily routines in check because a chaotic life breeds a chaotic mind. Number 3, the pause. Implement that magical 2-second rule we just talked about. And finally, number 4, acceptance. You can acknowledge and completely understand the emotion you're feeling without actually reacting to it. And hey, remember, self-control isn't built overnight. It's built through these small, consistent daily habits.
Wow, okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the sneaky traps of our own ego to the incredible quiet power of non-reaction. You now have the blueprint to stop being a slave to other people's chaos. So what does this all mean for you? I want to leave you with this final, really provocative question to take with you into your day. Next time the storm comes, will you be the howling wind, just exhausting yourself in a frenzy? Or will you be the deeply rooted tree, unbothered, unbreakable, and perfectly at peace? The choice is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.